In this story, we follow a boy who is the smartest student in his college. But one day, he falls in love with a beautiful adult star. And this leads to a series of unexpected and scandalous events in his life. This is what we're going to explore in today's story. At the start, we meet a boy named Matthew. He is an exceptionally intelligent student and considered the smartest in the entire college. But despite being so bright, Matthew is a boring guy. Apart from his studies, he avoids almost everything else, which is why no girl in the college is interested in him. This is Matthew's final year in college, and he's working hard to secure a scholarship for higher education. Yet deep inside, he's not happy. Matthew feels like he has spent his entire life studying and hasn't created any moments he could cherish later. He regrets not doing anything fun or memorable. One day, Matthew decides to change this. From now on, he will do things his peers enjoy, like making friends with girls, talking to them, and having fun. One day, something extraordinary happens. Matthew notices that a gorgeous girl named Danielle has moved into the house next door. Danielle is so stunning. She looks like a supermodel. That night, while Matthew is on the phone with a friend, he glances toward Danielle's window and sees her changing clothes. Unable to resist, he starts watching her secretly. But then, Danielle catches him in the act. A short while later, Danielle comes straight to Matthew's house. Hearing someone at the door, Matthew's dad calls him downstairs. Matthew gets scared, thinking Danielle is here to complain about him. Nervously, he goes downstairs, but his dad surprises him. He says Danielle is new to the city and doesn't know much about the area. He asks Matthew to help her and go out with her. When the two are in the car, Danielle suddenly stops. She looks at Matthew and asks how he felt while watching her undress. Embarrassed, Matthew apologizes and admits it was unexpected, but also says she's incredibly beautiful. Hearing this, Danielle smiles and says she now wants to see him undressed. Nervously, Matthew takes off his clothes and stands in front of the car. But instead of saying anything, Danielle starts the car and drives off with his clothes. Matthew chases her helplessly. A while later, Danielle returns, laughing, and tells Matthew she was just joking. She gives him his clothes back. They laugh about the situation and start talking, and this marks the beginning of a great friendship between them. The next day, while Matthew is in class, Danielle shows up and calls him outside. He leaves the class, and the two spend the whole day together, having fun and enjoying each other's company. That evening, they sneak into a private swimming pool and start swimming. They get closer and are just about to kiss, when Matthew suddenly realizes this pool belongs to his principal. Panicked, they both rush out of the pool and run away. Later, they go to a party hosted by one of Matthew's friends. Everyone at the party is shocked to see Danielle. Many of Matthew's friends try to impress her. But Matthew has already decided. He wants Danielle to be his girlfriend. So without hesitation, he walks up to Danielle and in front of everyone he kisses her. The next day, Matthew is overjoyed. He feels on top of the world after sharing that kiss with Danielle. But then, one of Matthew's friends approaches him and reveals a shocking truth. He tells Matthew that the girl he thought was just a beautiful, sweet neighbor is actually an adult star. To prove it, he shows Matthew videos of Danielle's work. Watching this, Matthew feels heartbroken and disappointed. He quietly gets up and begins to leave. But his friend stops him and says, "So what if she's an adult star? You should take advantage of this situation. You can do whatever you want with her." Hearing this, Matthew feels conflicted. But he ends up going to see Danielle. She is at her house, sitting with her mother looking at old childhood photos. Matthew interrupts and asks Danielle if she'd like to go somewhere with him. Danielle agrees and they head to a hotel together. Once inside, Matthew unexpectedly asks Danielle to take off her clothes. Danielle instantly realizes what Matthew is thinking. She looks at him and says, "You're misunderstanding me. I've stopped doing all that a long time ago. Now I just want to live a normal life. I was genuinely enjoying being close to you, but you've misunderstood me completely." Feeling hurt and angry, Danielle storms out, leaving Matthew behind in regret. The next day, Matthew decides to go to Danielle's house to apologize. However, when he arrives, he meets another man named C. C seems familiar with Danielle. Feeling uneasy, Matthew leaves. But as he's walking away, C follows him outside. Matthew turns and asks, "How do you know Danielle?" C smirks and replies, "I'm her producer, and also her ex-boyfriend." The following day, Matthew is heading to college when he notices C flirting with girls on campus. C also spots Matthew and, in an attempt to gain the upper hand, starts praising Matthew in front of the girls, making Matthew extremely uncomfortable. Later, Matthew and C go to the bank to deposit the student union scholarship money. The bank employee asks Matthew about C, and Matthew reluctantly introduces him as their student advisor. The next day we see Danielle preparing to leave. Matthew finds her and asks where she's going. Danielle says, "I can never change who I am, and I can't live a normal life. I'm going back to Las Vegas with C." Hearing this, Matthew feels devastated. By this point he realizes he has fallen in love with Danielle. Determined to stop her, Matthew decides to follow her to Las Vegas, with the help of his friends. When they reach Las Vegas, they enter a club and spot Danielle. She's performing in front of everyone wearing revealing clothes. Matthew feels hurt, but he walks up to her. He tries to explain, "You don't have to do this, Danielle. You deserve so much more in life." Before Danielle can respond, C shows up. He grabs Matthew and drags him into a private room. He threatens him, saying, "Why are you interfering in my business? Stay away from Danielle, or you'll regret it." C even shoves Matthew and makes it clear he won't tolerate anyone disrupting his work. Despite C's threats, Matthew refuses to give up. He finds Danielle again and says, "You don't need to be here. You're worth so much more than all of this. Please, come back with me." After saying this, Matthew leaves the club with his friends, feeling defeated but still hopeful. The next day, while Matthew is at home, Danielle surprises him. She shows up to pick him up for college. As they drive to campus, Matthew asks Danielle if she would like to attend a party with him. Danielle smiles and agrees. Matthew feels happy and hopeful once again. Later we see Matthew in his classroom. It's an important day for him, because he has a scholarship exam. If he passes, it will allow him to attend a prestigious college for higher studies. But just as the exam begins, C barges in. He pulls Matthew out of the classroom, claiming that Matthew's interference has cost him money by bringing Danielle back. C takes Matthew to a car and drives him to a secluded spot. There he beats Matthew mercilessly, venting all his anger. After a while, C calms down and offers Matthew a deal. He hands him drugs and says, "If you do something for me, I'll never interfere between you and Danielle again." After this, C takes Matthew to the house of a man named Matty and tells him to steal Matty's trophy. C leaves Matthew inside the house and secretly calls the police on him. Inside, Matthew finds the trophy, picks it up, and is about to leave, when he suddenly sees Matty standing right there. Startled, Matthew starts running, but Matty unleashes his parrot to chase him. Matthew runs out of the house to escape the parrot, but soon realizes the police are approaching from the front. Panicking, he quickly hides nearby and calls his friend for help. His friend arrives, rescues him, and takes him away from the scene. In the next scene, Matthew and Danielle are at the college where Matthew is scheduled to give a scholarship speech. However, due to the drugs C forced on him earlier, Matthew starts feeling their effects. His behavior becomes odd, and as he steps on stage, he finds himself unable to properly read his prepared script. Frustrated, he throws the script away and begins speaking directly from his heart. To everyone's surprise, his speech is excellent, and the audience breaks into applause. Despite the positive response, when the final results are announced, Matthew does not win the scholarship. Instead, it is awarded to another student. Later, Matthew goes to the bank to check on the $25,000 fund he had deposited for the student union. To his shock, he learns that C had withdrawn the money by pretending to be the student advisor. Devastated, Matthew returns home and tells everything to Danielle and his friends. Together, they come up with a plan to teach C a lesson. Matthew and Danielle visit Matty, a producer in the adult entertainment industry like C. Matthew explains the entire situation to Matty and even returns her trophy as a gesture of goodwill. He then offers her a deal. "If you give us $25,000, we will create the best video ever for you." Matty is intrigued and agrees to the deal. With Matty's support, Matthew, Danielle, and their friends begin working on the video. Danielle reaches out to some of her old friends who are also adult stars to help with the project. The group heads to the prom. Matthew's classmates notice the women and realize they are adult stars. Curious and excited, they approach Matthew. He jokingly asks if they'd like to work with them, and the classmates eagerly agree. The group completes the shoot while having a lot of fun. After the shoot, everyone returns home except Matthew and Danielle, who stay behind. In the privacy of the car, the two share a tender, intimate moment, growing closer than ever. The next morning, Matthew's friend calls him in a panic. He says their video has been stolen. Matthew soon discovers that C has the tape and is now at his house. C confronts Matthew, holding the video as leverage. He demands half of the earnings and threatens to show it to Matthew's principal and parents if he refuses. However, Matthew stands firm and declines C's demands. Determined to humiliate Matthew, C goes ahead and shows the tape to the principal and others. But when the tape plays, it turns out to be nothing more than an educational class video. Everyone watching praises Matthew for his creativity and effort. The tape is officially released and quickly becomes a bestseller. With the success of the tape, Matthew earns a lot of money. He uses the funds to pay his university fees. And he even appoints C as the student advisor. Matthew also buys himself a fantastic car with the remaining money. In the end, we see Matthew and Danielle happily together, enjoying their lives and cherishing their relationship. With this joyful ending, the story comes to a close. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.